This is NBK, nothing but Knicks. When Sim passed the assist, you know that it's number one show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock, who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Nick updates and trade rumors? Post-game reviews, this the place you tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sub like a player that came off the bench. This is NBK, nothing but Knicks.
Knicks family, what's poppin'? It's your boy. What's poppin' with you, ladies and gentlemen? I'm here with my man Tony Crow. We're just gonna talk a little bit of Knicks news. What are the Knicks gonna do? Are they gonna do anything to replace Landry Shamet, who, as we seen last night, suffered a shoulder injury? Basically the same thing that Julius Randle suffered. So, the Knicks definitely need shooters on this basketball team to keep the floor spread, right? That's the whole purpose of the reason that they put this team together, how they constructed this basketball team, to have shooters out there on the floor. Now you're down a shooter, a guy can knock down shots in Landry Shamet. I don't know. What do we do? The Knicks 4-0 in the season, in the preseason, which is nice, but you lost a player. That I think Tom Thibodeau, you heard Tom Thibodeau, even though, he wasn't on the roster yet, it sounded like he was going to be on the roster, when you listen to Tom Thibodeau.
Yeah, and salute, shout out to the chat, Yo Black is time. Not only did he speak about him highly, but we seen it in the rotation patterns. Right. That, it seemed like he was a fit in to make the team, and earn that contract.
Right. So now he's out. You've seen how long Julius Randle was out, so you can make a good assumption that he's going to be out for the same amount of time or more. Right? What do the Knicks do? How do you replace him? Because he's not an off the dribble shooter. He's a catch and shoot shooter. I'm not saying he can't go off the dribble, but he's a catch and shoot shooter. Something the Knicks need. He's a spot up shooter. Something the Knicks need. Where do we find that shooting? Now, and he's not the only guy on the team that could shoot that way. But I'm saying we lost one, right? And it's much needed depth, right? Because we gave up Dante DiVincenzo in the trade. Josh Hart moves to the starting lineup, right? So you needed the depth on the bench. So, you lost a little bit. What do we do? Do the Knicks replace him or just dig deeper in the bench with some guys that we already have? What do you think, Tom?
Well, I've been contemplating this all day. So earlier in the day, I was like, what's up with once a Knick, always a Knick, Doug McDermott. He could have came in and filled that role on a vet minimum. He just got picked up by Sacramento. And then my next thoughts is, like you said, do we fill that void internally? Does this open the door for TJ Warren? Obviously, he's bringing a different skill set, a more versatile skill set, but not the definitive shooting that we're missing with Shamet. So, do you hold out and wait and see if one of these guys pop loose during the cuts, these final cuts coming up, or sometime during the season or whatever, or do you fill the role now with versatility, but not necessarily knock down dead eye shooting?
Right.
Yeah, so But I like TJ Warren. I liked him from the jump. Mook Morris also is another option who would bring that shooting, maybe not as versatile as Warren at this age, but Warren comes with risk as well with the injury history and how durable he ends up becoming. Yeah. So there's options.
TJ Warren is also a guy that's been in the league, right? Played some high level basketball. He's making his way back into the league, but he understands and knows how to get it done. And he is a versatile. He used to be a really good defender. Is he still that guy? After injuries and whatever, I don't know. He can score in a multitude of ways. You know what I mean? So he is versatile in that way. And you can still, if you need that, I guess if you need that shooting, you can, you still got Deuce and you have Campaign that can shoot it from three. Are they the type of shooters that Shamet was?
They're not
different type of shooter. And I
different.
think the reason why you got Shamet is because of the style of shooting that he brings. Right? The come off screens, the guy that can come off the screen, catch it and shoot. You know what I mean? I don't know if we have that guy on this basketball team. Bridges maybe can do it. He can do some of that. But I mean, I'm talking about the bench in particular.
As a replacement, yeah. See, we don't have it. Like he was the one guy that brought that. I mean, you could argue, even though you mentioned Mikal, he was the one guy on the team that kind of brought that. That was the closest to we talking about replacements, DiVincenzo replacement in style of play at least, or style of shooting. So no, I think what this forces Tibbs to do is, make an adjustment. If you're going with a guy like Warren, like you said, he can score in a multitude of ways. Just three ball isn't his bread and butter per se. You know what I mean? Like or even that type, he could shoot the three, but he's not gonna be running around shooting off the screen, shooting off movement and things of that nature. So it's just gonna be an adjustment in that next player's role, whether it be Deuce, Cam, Warren, whoever it is. They're playing a different style. Right. You know what I mean? So Tibbs is just gonna have to utilize the player for who they are and their skill set.
Yeah. It's gonna be interesting to see what the Knicks do. I mean, we're about a week away from a little more than a week away from opening night. Can you add somebody right now and get them acclimated and enough time for them to actually play?
That's the other thing. That's the other thing. They got to work their way into Tibbs' circle of trust. You know what I mean? Yeah. They got to show it in practice. You know what I mean? They got
all of that. I mean, obviously, there's going to be a certain level of player that no matter when you bring that player on, they're going to play. But right now, you're bargain basement shopping. So I don't know if you're going to find anyone right now that you're going to bring in and just, like, boom, we can put them out there and play. It's going to take some time to get them in and do whatever, which I guess is okay.
The good thing, though, is even though we're a week away from the opener, the good thing is some players are going to shake loose within this week. You know what I mean? Final cuts. Other exhibition guys that's throughout the league, you know what I mean? Other guys that, teams are going to have to make a decision on, choosing between one or two guys or one out of three guys they got to make a decision on. So some guys are going to shake loose. Maybe somebody falls through the crack that we could, we could snatch up.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I mean, is there anybody else besides TJ Warren that's already on this team that you think can just step in?
In the style, no. Not I mean, style, we haven't seen McCullough. That's his name, McCullough. The one rookie we haven't seen. Mm-hmm. I don't know what he brings as far as shooting. I know the scouting report or the player comps coming into the draft. I read a lot of Josh Hart with a jump shot. But I don't know how good that jump shot is and the style in which he shoots. Mm-hmm. And then, by committee. So maybe Warren, we finally got to see Dadier, Deuce, maybe by committee, It won't be the style of play, but maybe we still get those same
Yeah.
opportunities.
What about Kolick though?
I mean, he looks like he probably is the closest as far as style of play, shooting off movement, off the dribble, and things like that. But I wouldn't necessarily give him that role. You know what I mean? I wouldn't
Right.
put that pressure on
No,
him
yeah,
for
I don't
that.
know if you give him that role. I think you just play a different style. When
And
if
but
he's out there on the floor, if it's him and Campaign and Deuce out there on the floor, you just play a different style now. You know, and to get that shooting, you know, maybe you got to have Bridges out there with him. You know, to get that style of shooting, maybe you got to have Bridges out there with him or something. I don't know. You know, let me ask you this: Does he even make the team now, though? Shamet.
I don't think so. I don't think so. I think number one, let's just say it's the Julius Randle original timeline, and that's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't that still 6 to 8 weeks? Like the original timeline? Before you know what I mean? Before it got pushed back and it like it was a 6 to 8 weeks thing. And that's not a guarantee. I think what they can do is, if they're gonna wait a little bit, waive them so you have the spot, you have the money.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You pay him the $15,000 that he's guaranteed to get, but you still have that option to bring him back if he becomes healthy during. But the only thing with that is you're not keeping TJ Warren.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I'd rather either utilize it with somebody else. You know what I mean? Waive them and keep the spot and the money open. And then if something else better comes in the meantime, or if it doesn't look like the recovery is happening, you know what I mean, within the year or so, then you could make that decision. But I wouldn't keep him and hold up the roster spot with the potential of him not coming back.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, to me, that's kind of
Yeah, that wouldn't make sense. Kevin Bergen said, wasn't Shamet on a 10-day or something? He was on an Exhibit 10.
Exhibit 10.
All right, basically a training camp deal. So he still had to make the team. You know, now he's injured. You know, the likelihood of him making the team, you know, is not good. Now, I don't know what the NBA rules around that are. You know, because he was on an Exhibit 10 and he got injured. I don't know. The Knicks, I don't know. Maybe he stays within the organization somehow. This happened with somebody else. I don't remember who, and I don't remember exactly what it was, but I do remember the guy stayed around and could still use the Knicks facilities and you know, as they were
the other option would be bringing a two-way guy up to a standard contract, which would be a lot cheaper as far as what you got to pay them, and putting him on a two-way.
Right.
And that could definitely keep him.
Yeah, Nostalgic Nick said the Knicks will look out for Shamet. You know, it's possible. It's possible. You know, it's just, you know, his style of shooting the Knicks need it, and you're losing it. I just don't know if you're going to find it anyplace else, you know. Just don't know if you're going to find it anyplace else. And for those who don't know, I'm pretty sure everyone's seen it, but, you know, oh, that's the wrong thing. There you go. Brought the wrong thing over there. For those who don't know, Shamet, you can see him holding his shoulder, man. He popped his shoulder out, trying to deflect the ball, trying to get a steal. And when you slow it down and see it, you know what I mean? You can't even, I mean, you can see it popping out right there. You can see his shoulder popping out, but it's hard to even see how it really happened. You know what I mean? He slapped at the ball. I guess it was just the force of the ball going up and his arm coming down made his shoulder pop out. Looks painful. You know what I mean? Looks painful. And that's a shooting arm, right? It's right-handed. That's a shooting arm.
Yeah. Yep. Because the same arm as Randall, and Randall was his off arm. So yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, and feel bad for a guy who's on an Exhibit 10 trying to make a team, and then boom, he gets this kind of an injury that's going to keep him out for months. And then who knows, right? If he's going to need surgery, you know what I mean? Just similar to Randall.
Yeah. That's what I mean. Like to keep him and for the unknown, it doesn't make sense. You know what I mean? When you can let him go, give him the 15,000, which obviously is not enough. I mean, a lot, but you know what I mean? That's what the contract is.
Yeah.
And again, if something happens down the line and he's ready to go, you try to figure it out then.
Right.
I did want to say there is a distinction between the Exhibit 9 and the Exhibit 10. I'm not telling you what the distinction is, but one of them gives you more protection on an injury, and one of them I think doesn't. It's pretty much the same thing. The only difference between the 9 and the 10 is one gives you some type of insurance for the injury. But unfortunately, I believe it was the Exhibit 9 that did that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure. Have to do some research and look that up. Not exactly sure. Last night against the Charlotte Hornets, the starters sat, right? And the bench played. What you think about the bench playing? What you think about how they looked? The Knicks won the game, I'm sure Tibbs wanted to get a chance to see some other guys and make some decisions about filling out the end of the bench, right? But we got to see, you got to see Precious have a big night. Dadier, 16 points, all in the second quarter or something like that. You got to see, you got to see what these guys can do with playing time. What you think about it?
Number one, I'm going into the game like, all right, the starters all sat. I don't really care for a win or a loss. I'm looking to see what these guys do, the back of the bench guys do, playing against some guys that are NBA, second units and some first unit guys that they typically weren't seeing the floor against during this time. So that was the first thing I was looking for. Obviously, I was looking for Deuce and Precious to be the leaders, considering these are the guys who have started for us in the past when needed to. So, like, how do they lead was number one. And then that point guard, I don't want to say battle, but that point guard position. Cam's been great, man, the whole step of the way. Like, I'm gonna keep saying it. I wasn't high on him, but every game I get more and more like he's gonna be a fan favorite. And Kolik's been my guy from the beginning. He lived up to the Tibbs monarch of you don't gotta shoot the ball well to play well. He was 2 for 9 and almost had a triple double. Hukporti continues to impress as well. I think he's outplaying Sims. I thought this was an opportunity for Sims as well, another guy who has started for us in the past. But it was I think everybody kind of showed up. It's literally and it's literally again what Tibbs preaches, next man up mentality. These guys are ready for a bigger role when needed. You know what I mean? Like nobody really pardon my French, but poop the bed. You know what I mean? Like no, like nobody, everybody kind of stepped up in that bigger roles.
Yeah. The Knicks actually have a nice draft class, man. When you look at these young guys, Hukporti, Tyler Kolik, Dadier, I mean, the Knicks have a nice little draft class that Who'd I seen? I seen somebody, maybe it was Tommy Beer, say in other seasons, if this was a group that the Knicks were gonna, fans were gonna watch play, and the Knicks were gonna try to grow, you would look at them and say, all right, I'll watch these guys while they're growing and see what they can do. You know what I'm saying?
If this was the rebuild, and then a great position to be in, right? Like these guys, if it take them a year, if it take them 2 years, you know what I mean? They learn it under true vets. You know what I mean? All these guys got somebody on the team that they could kind of get molded from, and
And what makes it even better is that they're gonna, like, the Knicks will be winning. They'll be winning. So they're coming in playing for a winning team or going, that's gonna be what, like, that's the bar. My bar is to win. You know what I'm saying? Because that's all that I know coming into this league is winning, and they're gonna grow up in a culture of winning. You know what I'm saying? And the culture that the Knicks have, in a good culture, a culture of work, a culture of good ethics. You know what I mean? And that's how they're gonna develop
them habits again.
Yeah.
The things Tim says, it manifests itself daily.
Right.
If you really think about it, you know what I mean? Game to game, practice, whatever it is, like all these little sayings he talks about, they manifest themselves.
Yeah. So I mean, it's a beautiful thing, man. Like, this front office, just can't. It's front office. They work. They've been doing their thing. You know what I mean? And they put together a team of young vets. When you look at it, is there anybody on this team over 30?
I think Cam was 29.
Okay. I mean,
I think Cam's 29. I don't know how old Shamet is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, but
you got a team of young vets, all good character guys, right? The entire team, good character guys. The front office has done an amazing job putting this team together. And then you got young guys. Okay, TJ, there you go. TJ Warren is 31, Shamet is 27. And then you have young guys that you're still growing and developing at the end of the bench. They've done an amazing job putting this team together, setting this team up to be good for years to come, and then have young guys coming behind them to continue to be good for years to come. Yeah, can't beat that.
Yes, sir.
Can't beat that. I mean, can't beat it at all. The only thing, and we talked about this the other night, Tony. The only thing about this team that I wonder about is, are we missing that edge? Right? Julius Randle was the guy that brought the edge to the team. Like, when you look at the Golden State Warriors, Draymond Green brought the edge to the team. You know what I'm saying? He brought you that edge. Julius Randle brought that edge to this team. Maybe Josh Hart is the guy that brings the edge. But it's a different kind of edge than what Julius Randle brought. Like, Josh Hart is still a good guy that everyone's gonna like. Randle was the guy that even the fan, like, we know the fans didn't like him. You know what I'm saying? He brought that kind of an edge, just a little bit of nastiness that I wonder, does this team have that little bit of nastiness that we need?
I was just gonna say, usually the guy that has that edge is the guy that the fans have that wishy-washy relationship with.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
Or at times could be seen a detriment. You know what I mean? Draymond Green or whatever the case. So, but yeah, I agree. I think, the good teams have a guy they need a guy like that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I don't know. And when Randall was here, we said we need a guy like that.
That's true.
Right? We were looking for, because we didn't want Randall to be the guy, because the Knicks needed Randall on the floor. right? So you needed a guy that can bring that edge, that guy that, that guy that just brings that edge. You know what I'm saying?
You know who could have been
A
that
little bit of
guy?
nastiness.
I mean, I mentioned him earlier. I know, somebody in the chat, but Mook, he could have been that guy for us. He could
Mook.
have filled that role.
Mm-hmm.
Also brought some shooting. I know he declined the camp invite after we initially waived the Exhibit 9, because I believe he was on Exhibit 9. But I think that was because they also informed him that the fact that they waived him initially to make the deal work, the trade work, that probably told him his chances of making the team
right
moving forward was slim.
Right.
Because why not keep me and waive a different exhibit guy? You know what I mean? So that's probably why he didn't take the invite after the fact, because he knew it still was going to be a choice between him and Shamet. And Shamet had the upper hand, considering they waived him and not Shamet.
Yeah.
So it makes sense that he didn't accept the invite, because he knew the chances of making the team was slim.
Yeah.
Right. Now might change them.
It might change. It might change. It might change now. If he doesn't have, if he's not fielding offers from anybody else, it could change now. Because the Knicks, I think this team, I think that could be just one of the missing factors, or, that could be a missing factor. I think every team needs an edge guy, I think. You know what I'm saying? Now, there were rumors out there about Marcus Smart. I don't know what Marcus Smart's availability is right now. I don't know. But
I don't know if that's the right move right now.
Yeah.
Because
I don't know if it fits.
As much as exactly as much as good as a potential piece he is, you still got to go through the kinks, right? And it, just to get him, I believe it's gonna cost. I mean, unless they're taking like Robinson, I mean, it's gonna cost Deuce, right? It's gonna cost Robinson and Deuce.
Yeah.
I think that's too much right now.
Yeah,
given
that.
You know what I mean? Like, is he gonna come in and be? Number one, Deuce is almost like a younger version of him.
Yeah.
I rather watch the timeline on Deuce and see the improvement and see if he can reach the Marcus Smart level or exceed it.
Yeah.
Than bring in Marcus Smart right now.
Right. Building Block said he makes $20 million now.
Yeah, so that's Mitch and Deuce.
You know what I'm saying? If you're gonna pay $20 million, you got to get more than Marcus Smart. Now, I'm not saying he's not good, but he's not. That's not the missing piece.
And that trade potentially is available later. So let's see if we need a Mark. You know what I mean? Like, if we need him in a month, in 2 months or 3 months. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think that.
I'm not giving up Deuce for Marcus Smart, though.
Yeah, I wouldn't either.
I'm not giving up Deuce for Marcus Smart. Yeah, I think I don't know where we find that guy. And maybe somebody emerges on this team. Maybe that's Mitch when he comes back. But he's not. Is he coming back this season?
Oh, January. This year. Not this year, but this season. The earliest. But I also think they are taking the slowest approach possible. You know what I mean? I think they're not playing around. Like, he might be ready to go in December. I think they're just waiting to January. You know what I mean? Like, I think they want to really solidify his health, really have him for the long stretch. I think maybe they rushed him back last year. You know what I mean? Maybe, even though I do think Joel had a large part in the second. You know what I mean? The second injury.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. I would like the Knicks to find that guy from somewhere. I don't know if it's going to be possible, or somebody emerge. You know what I mean? As time goes on and teams develop, and the team itself, I think, and nobody might not even need to say it in the locker room. I think the team itself, if it is an issue, would realize yo, we need more of an edge. And somebody will step up and bring that edge out there on the floor. You know what I'm saying? You know, a guy that maybe could bring it, if his confidence is high, maybe a Chiwa could bring it.
Sure, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You know, when his confidence gets high, you know, and he starts to feel a little cocky, he might have something like that. Building blocks at Isaiah Stewart from Detroit is a goon. He's a New York guy too. He's not a New York City guy. He's a Buffalo guy, right? He's from Buffalo, but
That's even scarier. Shout out to Griselda.
you know. So I mean, yeah, I would have liked to have Isaiah Stewart on this team. I don't know where he fits now because, you know, you got Precious, you got Hukporti, you got Jericho Sims, you got Mitchell Robinson, right? So you got a bunch of guys kind of like Isaiah Stewart, although Isaiah Stewart might be tougher, you know, unless you're moving some of those guys to get Isaiah Stewart, you know. But he could be one of those guys. You know, he's a rebounding machine. He's a defensive guy, energy guy. You know what I mean? He would be a good, like if we didn't have Precious, Isaiah Stewart would be perfect. Unless you're moving, unless Precious is part of the deal, you know, and you're bringing Isaiah Stewart back.
Not even, again, and I'm not advocating for this, but what if you're saying let's move Mitch, knowing like we have a body that's available right now as opposed to waiting and seeing, you know what I mean, with Mitch. Maybe that's the swap out somehow. I don't even know what Stu makes, but I know I'm pretty sure it's a smaller contract.
Right. Let me see. Oh, he's from Rochester. I thought he was from Buffalo. I seen someone in the chat say he's from Rochester. I thought he was from Buffalo, but I mean, still, I mean, he is that kind of guy. You know, that could bring that kind of an edge. So, yeah, I don't know. I guess we'll just have to see. You know, maybe Brunson brings a little bit of an edge. Maybe Karl Anthony Towns brings some edge. I mean, Josh Hart's going to bring a little bit, but he's still kind of a goofy guy, you know.
See, Dre 2K18, he's for signing Marcus Smart, at least with the exclamation points. I think that's a cosign.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't know, man. I guess we'll see. But that's really all I had for tonight, Tone. I don't know if you have anything else that you want to bring up.
I mean, I'm gonna do a show on Sunday talking about it, but you know, just credit to these. I mean, what was your thoughts on Dadier's second or third quarter, whatever?
I mean, I think the kid is talented. You know, he's got to learn the NBA. So playing in the G League, I think is going to be great for him. Maybe getting some. I mean, he's a first round pick, so he's on the roster, right?
Mm-hmm.
But playing in the G League, some, you know, practicing with the team. Maybe he gets some minutes here and there. It's going to be great for him. I think. I think he's got a world of talent though, and he might be a guy that the Knicks picked up that in a couple of years you're like, yo, where'd he come from? Other teams like, where'd he come from? Who is this dude? And I still can't get over the fact that he does not sound French at all. But you know,
what I like about his fit right now, as far as like if he gets minutes, if he is utilized, is like right now. Not saying what he can develop into, but right now he's an off-ball guy anyway. You know what I mean? So he's gonna if he gets time, if he gets opportunity, it's not like he's a guy you're just giving him the ball and say go to work. He's a guy that kind of is in the right spots and then finds the right spots. Like, you know, going back to summer league, it looked like he was good cutting to the basket. You know what I mean? The shot wasn't falling, even though in France he was a 39% 3-point shooter. But then you look at last night, what was he, 50%, 2 for 4 from 3, maybe 3 for 5, something like that. But the shot looks good, man. Potential's there. Hukporti, I keep saying he looked like he better than Sims already. You know what I mean? Sims has the experience and the trust of Tibbs, so I don't take that lightly. but just the eye test, the mobility, you know what I mean? Like the ferociousness. We talk about needing a little bit of nasty. He might have some of that. You know what I mean? The way he attacks the rim. You know what I mean? Like, so these young guys, like you said, the future and the present is like we're built to win now, but we're also built for the future. The way these guys look like they're panning out, or the potential they have to pan out down the line.
Yeah, yeah. I know you've been talking to me about Hukporti and your belief that he might replace Sims, or has the chance to.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I mean, he does similar things already, but he does more than Sims. You know what I mean? Like he's not
a little more active,
more activity, and
more activity.
To me, that's a skill.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It's that's one of the things that troubles me about Sims is he doesn't seem to. I don't want to call it like a lack of motor, because that might not be the thing. But he doesn't seem like he pushes himself. He stays, and that could be a good thing. He stays within.
Who you talking about? Sims?
Sims, yeah.
And how much of that is his personality? Because he seems very reserved. As a matter of fact, just speaking of Sims real quick, Knicks Omni Fam, ladies and gentlemen, is having a on the 19th, they're having an event with Jericho Sims. And I'm going to do a short video tomorrow with a link where you can purchase tickets to that event and actually get a discount with the link that I'm going to give you to kind of kick it off with Knicks Omni Fan and Jericho Sims. All right, so that should be a pretty dope event. You know what I mean? And that's this Saturday coming up. All right, so I'll do a little video. You guys can purchase tickets to it, and go hang out with Knicks Omni Fan and Jericho Sims. Yeah, it's pretty dope. It's pretty dope. But back to it. He seems like he's really, really reserved. You know what I mean? And maybe that
I think it
displays itself on the court.
I think it's two different things though, because I mean, we had an all-time great, arguably the greatest power forward ever, who has that same type of demeanor in Tim Duncan. I'm not comparing games. I'm comparing, you know what I mean, like the personality, if you will. Yeah, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So I agree with you that is who he is. Personality wise, seemingly. You know what I mean. Obviously, I don't know. But I just go back to like that that big turnover in the playoffs last year, where you know what I mean, he was bringing the ball up the court. It was a little bit of pressure. He just stops, doesn't pass half court, ends up being a 8 seconds violation. We seen that again last night. The difference is, he pushed himself a little bit, 2 more dribbles to pass half court. But I feel like he just, like, sometimes he just gets stuck. He don't want to make a mistake. Maybe that's what it is. He don't want to try to do anything outside his realm, which could be considered a good thing, but sometimes you got to improvise. That's right. You know what I mean? There's no improvising with him, where sometimes that can make or break you.
Yeah. Nah. I definitely get that. You know what I mean? The basketball IQ part, I guess. That's kind of where it is. Some people have a natural basketball IQ. Some people got to work a little bit harder to gain that basketball IQ. And maybe you just, some things some people just have a knack for, right? And they don't even have to do too much work to have a knack for it. It's just natural. They just get it.
What I will give Sims is he's been rebounding the heck out the ball. You know what I mean? Like he's been great at that. He has a skill set, you know what I mean? But the limitations. I want him to push himself a little bit more.
So let's assume Tibbs sees the same thing, right? How long before he decides, all right, well, let me give this guy a try?
Well, the good thing is I think this situation is a little bit different. So I think you could see Hukporti. It's not going to be 12 minutes. You know what I mean? It's not going to be 20 minutes, but you could see him early in the season and kind of play both of them limited minutes and kind of do it that way. I don't think it takes 20 games. I think it might take 20 games for Sims to be out the rotation completely, but it won't take 20 games for us to see Hukporti in, whether it be because of foul trouble, whether it be because somebody's out this game. You know what I mean? I think we'll see Hukporti based off of what Tibbs has seen from him so far. But as far as like a definitive switch and somebody not being in the rotation, which I'm not wishing for that at all. But if Sims is going to be out the rotation, it won't be before 20 games.
Yeah,
I think that's kind of been Tibbs' motto before he makes a hard stance on a definitive change.
yeah.
A lot of these guys are going to have opportunities, though. I mean, I think there's going to be from night in and night out, game to game. I think all these guys are going to have a little bit of opportunity. You know what I mean? Colet's going to get a little bit of shine here and there.
Yeah.
Gaudier, you know what I mean? He might get a little bit of shine here and there, especially with not saying take the same approach as the Embiid approach, where you know what I mean, guys aren't playing back to back and things of that nature. But I don't mind OG getting a day off here and there.
Right.
You know what I mean? McCall ain't getting no days off, but I don't mind. I don't mind.
Brunson ain't getting no days off either.
Brunson either, but he's
Neither
gonna
one
miss
of
some
them.
days. You know what I mean? Like that. I think that's a given. Like Brunson's gonna miss some time. OG's gonna miss some time. Cat potentially will miss. You know what I mean? Some games here.
Cat's
Hopefully
gonna miss
not
some,
too many.
Yeah. Cat's
Yeah, I mean, so
Cat's gonna miss some time.
so all these guys are gonna have
yeah.
these little slices of opportunity.
Right. How much do you worry about injury with this team?
I'm not worried like the argument has been like these guys are injury prone. I'm not. I think the approach this year is gonna be guys stay whatever they gotta do for guys to stay healthy. So I think the approach is like, that's why I think there will be some load management for OG. I think there will be. I think there will be, you know what I mean? Not the same level, but I think there will be some load management internally, and I think that's gonna help.
Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, we were talking about Jericho Sims. Here you go. Kickoff season tip-off rally with Omni Knicks fan, ladies and gentlemen, and you can go hang out with Jericho Sims just a little bit. Right? Use the code NBK10 and you can get $10 off of a premium ticket or a VIP ticket. All right. I'm putting the link in the chat right now if you want to go check that out. You can go hang out with Knicks Omni fan and Jericho Sims this Saturday, October 19th from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. Unfortunately, I won't be able to make it. I'm actually going to be at the Howard University girls basketball practice, and then from there I'm going to a women's basketball practice, and then from there I'm going to Georgetown to their women's basketball practice. So my Saturday is going to be kind of.
So you trying to move up in the race? I'm just scouting new opportunities.
Nah, man, I'm just going to check it out, going to see what's going on. You know. Yeah. I'll be at Howard, and then from Howard, I'm going over to Georgetown, and check them out. You know, get some coaching tips this and that. All that.
I thought you was giving out the tips. I thought
Nah.
I thought you.
Nah. Nah, I'm trying to gain some knowledge so I can bring it back to my girls. You know what I mean?
Touché.
Yeah, so I won't be there because I'll be at Howard. I'll be at Georgetown on Saturday, spending my day just checking out some college basketball practices. But if you want to join Omni Knicks fan and Jericho Sims on this Saturday, use the code NBK10, ladies and gentlemen, and join the VIP meet and greet, autograph signing, and all of that. You know what I mean? So make sure you go check that out. Right.
What would you like the Knicks to do, and what do you expect them to do as far as this Shamet situation?
I
Replacement
personally,
or
I think right now I would like them to just go into the season with the team that they have. Right, go into the season with the team that they have. See what develops from there. Right, see what develops, and then kind of say, okay, we need to add this or that in replace of them. Right, see what Kolek could do. See what TJ Warren, see what it looks like. Maybe leave that, see what it looks like, because I think you got some guys that you can, add to the right. He wasn't on the roster anyway, right? Guys that you can bring up, add to the roster or whatever. See what it looks like. See what falls loose in the NBA, as the season starts, and then start to make a decision from there.
So guarantee the Warren contract. Because it's either guarantee it or waive them and have that money for if a vet minimum falls loose. They can't really do both.
I mean, but how much are you guaranteeing it for?
I think it's $3 million. I think his is $3 million because of his years.
Right.
You know what I mean? So like a younger vet will have a smaller minimum. For instance, like we were saying, we talked about Lonnie Walker. If you know what I mean, his vet minimum is is maybe $2 million compared to Warren, where it's $3 million. Mook Morris was $3 million. Shamet was $3 million because of years.
Yeah.
And we only have about $3 million. You know what I mean? A little over $3 million to before we hit
right
hard cap.
Right.
So it's kind of like use it or save it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It's definitely kind of tough. I don't know.
I'm for Warren just because he's been through the training camp. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like he had a lot of opportunity, but he played well in the opportunity that he has. He's already familiar with the guys, the system. You know what I mean? It's going to be telling if they leave that spot open and leave the money available and don't keep him, because that just means Tibbs, in my opinion. I mean, I don't know. Is that a Tibbs decision or is that a front office flexibility decision?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Tough.
Like,
it's tough. Or yeah.
They may ask Tibbs, hey, we could keep Warren. Are you going to use him? Do you need him? Is he going to be utilized? Or do you see him as a non-rotational guy?
Right.
And are we better off
not signing him or not signing him, keeping the roster spot available. And then keep the money available. I mean, I'd be okay with that if that's what they decided to do. You know what I'm saying? And then just figuring out what you already have, and what you need, and then going from there. Paris Duggar, thank you for the super chat. He said, weirdest thing I ever seen is a 12th man getting bullied by fans like Sims is. Hukporti isn't out playing him. Look at the stats. Switch Sims with Kolek and Hukporti with Deuce and Cam and see Sims get 10 and 10. I mean,
that's fair. I mean, if you're attributing Hukporti's success to Kolek, I think that's fair too.
Yeah.
But I mean, some of Hukporti's opportunity, like the one game he played the 5 minutes, he wasn't gonna play at all. He only played because Sims got in foul trouble.
Right.
So I mean, that was why I referenced, Sims is leaving the door open for him. It's you know what I mean? Like, because the spot the position is Sims.
Mm-hmm.
It's his to lose. You know what I mean? It's not like Hukporti. Like, I've never said Hukporti has earned it. Sims is gonna have to lose it, but he's leaving that door open. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Leaving it open. He's leaving it open. And then again, Paris, thank you for the super chat. He said Precious looks good, but he's a 4 against the real 5.
That might be his advantage too, though.
It could be, right? That could be it. It definitely could be. It could be. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate your time. I'm going to head out. Don't forget, man, this Saturday, with Omni Knicks fan, there's a autograph signing with Jericho Sims, a VIP meet and greet. If you use the code NBK10, you'll get $10 off of your ticket for premium and VIP tickets, ladies and gentlemen. So make sure that you go check that out. I'm putting the link in the chat. The link will also be in the description of the video. All right. Check it out. It's from 1 to 4 at Mustang Harry's this Saturday, October the 19th. 3 days. Nice little season tip-off rally, to get things started. So make sure you go check that out, ladies and gentlemen. That's definitely dope. And just a quick reminder, soon, very soon, these hoodies and T-shirts will be on pre-order. The Warden, 3 the Hard Way, NBK Comics. You know what I'm saying? So be on the lookout for that, ladies and gentlemen.
I've been sending them to the site on my shows. So I didn't know it wasn't up yet, but there's other merch on there.
It's not yet, but it will be. It will be soon. So make sure you get those. Make sure you check those out when the time is there. Ladies and gentlemen, we're up out of here. We appreciate your time. We'll catch you on the next one. Peace.
This is NBK, nothing but Knicks. When Sim passed the assist, you know that it's #1 show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock. Who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Nick updates and trade rumors? Post-game reviews, this the place you tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sub like a player that came off the bench. This is NBK, nothing but Knicks.